Having a gallery of images on one of your website pages can be a really nice thing to show on a web page. So, in your website that you need to create uh, around midterm, take some photographs of whatever your topic is about. If it's in your locality, great. Just go out and take some photographs. The point is not to agonize over having expert photographs. The point is to use those photographs to show us what you can do with HTML and CSS. Okay, so what I have already done here is I have downloaded some photographs. I've emailed them to myself. Here they are here. Okay, so I've got 5 pictures of trees. So I'm just going to cut them out of here, and I'm just going to create a folder. Okay, and let's just call this gallery. Okay, and inside that, I know I'm going to have a folder called images. And on a typical website, there are going to be images that won't be in a gallery. So what I want to do is I want to separate the gallery images by putting them in another subfolder. Okay, so this is like a grandchild subfolder of the gallery. Okay, I've used the name gallery there already. So let's call this okay. Gallery images. Like so. Okay, so I'm going to put my 5 images in here, and let us go to view. Let's see what these images are about, and then I'm going to rename them, okay, because they are fairly unhelpful image names. So basically these are 5 trees. So there's a beech tree, sycamore tree, and this is an oak tree, and this is, of course, these are moving around. This is a maple tree because they're all called IMG originally, so as I put names in here, they are changing their relative position alphabetically. Okay, so we've got beech, maple, oak, Russ, and sycamore. Okay, now as they're images, let's find out about them. Okay, what size are they? Okay, so how do I do that? Generally, view, details in the ribbon, and then right click on one of the headings up here. Okay, and go down to more, and just scroll down to the dimensions property. Okay, and the nice thing about that is we can see what size they are. Okay, so typically they are 3456 by 4608, okay, or vice versa. So these are huge images, okay, and they're going to be too big to actually use in a web page, a typical web page. So they're just going to take a long time to load up, a relatively long time. So we don't want that. So we can resize them. Okay, and this is where we need to start thinking. The idea behind a gallery is that we would have a small version of each of these pictures called a thumbnail, and when you click on them, a larger version would appear somewhere. Okay, so that's the plan. So we are going to make quite small versions of them. Okay, we were going to have maybe 75 pixels maximum side. Okay, and you can see by the dimensions here that some of them are landscape, some of them are portrait shape. So the maximum length of a side for the thumbnail is going to be 75 pixels, and then let's create the maximum side of the actual image that appears as maybe 400 pixels. So how are we going to do that? Okay, for the beech here, it's 3456 by 4608. Okay, so I want the 4608 to become 400 pixels. 3456 is going to be less than 400, it would be nice to be able to scale it automatically. So maybe if I double click on that, or you might find right clicking on it, open with. Okay, so here's the image of the beach. You can see it's huge. Okay, too big to display on a web page. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to click on the resize. Here I am going to click on pixels, and I am going to make sure I keep that checked. Okay, the aspect ratio will keep the shape. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make the biggest one of those two 400, and we see that the other one scales, the other side scales to 300. Okay, and you can look at that and you can see that the sides are a 4:3 ratio. Okay, once I do that, you'll see that the image shrinks. Okay, so there's the image, a bit more manageable size. So that is the first one, and let me save that as beach, and let's call it 400. Okay, like that, and let's go back and do that to the others. And this happens sometimes with Paint, it saves it into a different folder. It's gone in here for some reason. Gallery, I think, images, gallery images. Okay, so let's put that in there. So that's beach 400, and let's come back and do the same for maple. Let's save it first, and maple 400. Okay, and then we just resize that one there. Pixels, here's the longest this time. Okay, that is landscape. Okay, and the same for oak. $400. And then we'll resize the 400 like that. Okay, so it's all about getting things that are roughly the same size, getting these images that are roughly the same size, and that's going to be easier to display them on screen. It's going to be easy to format it so that it looks nice. The actual thumbnails are going to look nice. So that is 3 done. The Rus, I believe Rus is poisonous. The bark of Rus is poisonous. Let's change that to 400. But you won't get poisoned by just working on the image. Sure, that's reassuring news to you. Let's come in here, 400 vertical. Okay, so that is portrait. And then finally sycamore. And resize that. Okay, now just be warned, if you start off with a small picture and the dimensions get bigger, your picture is going to look much poorer resolution. So just be aware of that. Normally you start off with a big image and then you scale it down. Okay, so it hasn't changed some of these. Why is that? I don't know why it hasn't done this. finally the Ross will be okay now. Okay, we've now got 5 images whose maximum size is 400 and 5 images. Sorry, we need 5 more images now because I want a small version of each of these so that when I click on it, we get a larger image displayed. Now let me just show you what I'm talking about here. If we go to this page here. Okay, here I've got these small versions, thumbnails, and when I click I get a larger version appearing there. Okay, so this is what we're going to create, and you can see these images, even though this one for example is landscape, this one here is portrait, or probably square actually. We're getting a nice neat table displayed. Okay, so even though they're different sizes, we're still getting a nice table, and we can see the image appearing in here. So this is our plan ultimately. So what I need to do with each of these 400 images is make them smaller. Okay, so let's save this as beach 50. Okay, like that, and let's resize then so that the largest side is 50. Okay, like that. So it's now at 37 by 50. You can see it's got a lot smaller there. And pixels 400 goes to 50. So the other side goes to 37. There's 2 done. And oak. And let's resize that. Okay, this is the original big one, but it doesn't matter because I'm saving as. There we go. Okay, the Russ. And one more, last but not least, our sycamore. Okay, notice I'm not changing the type of file, and these are just standard pictures, standard JPEGs. Sycamore 50 as well goes to 50 maximum. Okay, so now we've got our small images here, and you can see there I've got 5 of these and 5 medium sized, and then the 5 really big ones. Okay, so in the next video we'll start putting these into a web page, and we'll use an iframe to do that.